What's up, everybody? It is May 7th, 2024. Flobo, Glenn,
Yo.
Together again.
Hey.
In a minute.
What's shaking?
Talk about NXT, y'all. Tonight, the Combine. I don't know why we did this when the 12 finalists are pretty much who you expected. We're going to be in the finals for the
I was surprised
NXT
at Ren
American
Sinclair, but we're talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's great. I think it was fun. I get why they did it because they want to make it seem a little more sports-like. They want to showcase the strength, athleticism. It's just the end result was not shocking. You did not look at that 12 and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe so-and-so made it."
We'll get to it, but I was a little shocked that they let main roster talent on the NXT Combine for the secondary title, but that's besides the point.
I mean, barely main roster talent. The way they're booked on the main roster.
Well, hot take, but I agree. It's a mild take. It's a banana pepper take.
In fact,
it's spicy, but I get it.
This is great for Mia Yim. This is actually phenomenal for her. We had a little tease tonight, a black screen with snoring, because I think somebody who was just on Level Up recently is making her return to the main roster or the main NXT show. I know. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what's going on with Chase U. We're going to talk about what's going on with Tony D and the No Quarter Catch crew. Everybody's talking about the NQCC. We got all that and more, but Flobo, what's going on in the news?
We have a lot of things going on in the news thanks to our overlords over at the brand I can't mention on air. But the first thing up is WWE NXT announcer is heading to the main roster. I guess we didn't see that happen this week. Looks like Alicia Taylor will be heading over to SmackDown, filling in permanently for Mike Rome. We love Mike Rome. It seems that it's time for a shakeup, though, with both Alicia Taylor and Samantha Irvin on the main roster as ring announcers. For the first time, the ring announcer corps would be two women of African American descent.
Yeah, both awesome, and it's going to be a change at NXT. It'll be interesting. Have Mike Rome back.
I like Mike Rome, but I also here's the thing. I don't want to have anyone that's the wrong way. Cause I love Mike Rome. He's a friend of a friend, loves the guy. But it did feel like he was putting extra sauce on things post Mania. I felt like after the Cody win and after Samantha Irvin got her shine, it was like Mike's on the writing on the wall and decided to put extra things. But hey, look, NXT needs that kind of real world experience. I think everyone benefits of this trade.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good to see. But I think you're right. I think the stakes have been up, and that's got to be tough, right? I mean, it's kind of like a bit of a Larry Sanders Show behind the scenes thing. It's like you're a ring announcer, and then you wake up one day and open Twitter, and everyone will be like, "Oh my God."
Oh, it's rough.
Yeah. So they're like, I got to step up my game.
Yeah, well, our broadcast colleague Jack Farmer dabbles in the ring announcing arts, and a lot of times he goes to the arena and they say, "Nah, we don't need you today, kid," or "Where are you, Jack?" It's always a fluid thing. So,
but people are competitive in broadcast. People don't know this, but when Jack Farmer joined Wrestling Inc., I said I have to get more handsome now. I have to step it up a little bit. Before, I thought I was the eye candy of the Wrestling Inc. podcast, and then Jack joined, and I was like, "Oh my God, I gotta be top of my game."
It's all WWE augmented reality circa 2021. It's all drones and stuff.
I'm like, maybe I will comb my hair more often before I come on this podcast. Occasionally, I'll maybe even wear a hat.
Man's flexing with having hair on top of his head. Dope. Okay. Mm-hmm.
But if everyone starts talking about, "Oh my God, Flobo looks so dapper,"
that never happens. I'm wearing a T-shirt, bro.
You look good. You pull it off.
Well, go ahead.
And then I'll be like, "Oh, maybe I gotta shave my head." Shaved head and a beard look worked for Walter White.
Yeah. Wait.
Worked for me.
Well, yeah. I mean, it didn't work out for him, but
for a while it did.
Yeah.
People don't focus. Like if you watch the movie The Fly, there's that 15 minutes when Jeff Goldblum's on top of the world.
Right.
When Brundle is just like, "Oh, this feels amazing." If you shut it off then, you'd be like, "Wow, that fly getting in the transport, that's the best thing that ever happened to this guy."
Hot title run, like Kofi Kingston. Love it.
Yes. Just don't watch the end. It's very depressing. What else is going on in the news?
Well, it looks like WWE is not going to re-sign Drew Gulak, and well, we talked about the reason why Drew Gulak was pulled off TV a couple weeks ago, and it looks like the reason here officially is that the contract is at its end, not necessarily due to a firing situation. Backstage is a weird nebulous thing. When he said, she said, we have reports that Drew Gulak was a quote unquote bully. The talent's backstage. So this one definitely was a course of action, and maybe the Ronda Rousey thing wasn't the smoking gun we thought it was.
I mean, it seems like maybe that was a catalyst for something. But yeah, we'll never know the whole story. But those details that came out per Fightful definitely make it seem like beyond Ronda's allegation of, I guess it was a little bit harassment, a little bit maybe hazing. But beyond that, it seems like, oh yeah, like there may have been some personality issues. So I mean, Triple H did not want to answer that question at the end of that Backlash press conference.
Well, why should he?
He's too busy trying to focus on the positive, and somebody had to hit him with something negative, and he just got derailed, started taking shots at news outlets.
Right.
The man lives to focus on the positive, Flobo.
Okay, if you're going to have a news conference, and yes, you should be open to tough questions. But
I agree.
Drew Gulak, and I'm not knocking the man as a wrestler, but as far as the scope of the event, it seems so left field that it's going to be nothing but negatives. If Triple H goes, you know what? Let's talk about this in detail. You know?
Yeah. I think WWE should make its execs more available to the press. I think they should take more questions from the press. However, I think they need to decide if these post-fictional scripted pro wrestling event press conferences that are happening, or they're happening in these press conferences after scripted kayfabe events, they need to decide, are these extensions of kayfabe, or is this the time to ask serious questions?
And you know what? I don't want to. I say what I don't want to do too much. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. As someone in the wrestling pundit core, I have about like 10 years in the thing, but I've also seen it evolve. And for a while, everything, when they actually took questions, it had to have been these softball in character questions. And so the fact that we're flirting with that is pretty cool. But you look at these press conferences, man, the ones that get invited aren't CBS or ESPN or Fox. It's people like us, the Wrestling Inc. and Fightful. So there is a kind of, I won't say dirt sheet, but a kind of desire to know the truth in kayfabe or outside of kayfabe.
I mean, I agree with that. If this is the only opportunity that people get to ask Triple H a real question, shoot your shot, go for it. However, you could see the talent isn't quite sure. Like, am I supposed to be in storyline here? Am I answering as me? Am I answering as my character? I just think they got to figure out a way to switch this up and give some real press availability to people that do want to ask the questions. And if they're doing something that's more in character, maybe the kayfabe press conference should happen before, like we're talking off the air. Like, you do the weigh in, you have them out there, and I think that's more interesting too, by the way. I would rather ask a wrestler in character about their upcoming match rather than a match they just had, because they just won the match. Like, as a character, it's like, those are kind of boring answers a lot of the time.
I mean, to be fair, isn't it most of sports journalism on the sidelines? Like, not like the deep dive stuff, but hey, you just won a match. How do you feel? Oh, you just lost. How do you feel? Well, I feel great. But I don't know. As somebody who has an opportunity, who had an opportunity before, who isn't currently doing them now, I think there's a really cool lane to ask questions as if it's a sport. I'm not saying like kayfabe. I do a kayfabe podcast at the very subject, but rather from that line of, hey, look, you won the match. What's next for you? In a way that makes it interesting instead of being like, how do you feel now?
Yeah. No, I just think that this current format and formula is not quite it yet. And I don't know what the correct answer is. I'm just positing ideas.
You should know, Glenn.
I should know. I should have an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People come to this after show for answers.
I think I own like one share of WWE through Robinhood. So therefore, I'm clearly the person.
Why one? Why
I don't
want to vote? Like, why'd you get 5? No. I'll take one, please.
I don't know. What else is going on?
Well, let me know from your yacht how it turns out. Well, the whole world is gripped by this I can't believe we still say the word beef, but this feud between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. In fact, this morning I was listening to MLB Network Radio and having guys in their 50s talking about the situation. Well, Shawn Michaels getting himself involved in the proceedings, offering both Kendrick Lamar and Drizzy invitations to NXT to make sure they handle it like men. Because frankly, why do a song about it where you can use hammerlocks and fisticuffs, my friend?
I mean, and while he's at it, I'm surprised he didn't say, and this year, the presidential debates, why don't we have those at the Performance Center as well?
Didn't Obama have a match with Hillary one time? Did I make that up? No, it did happen. No, Rod versus Barack or the Rock Obama. That actually happened.
I remember the weird promos all the candidates submitted in 2008.
Yeah.
And like both Barack and John McCain made a smell what the Rock is cooking joke in their promos.
Lord.
And John McCain's was more awkward.
2016 was his own level, but 08 was unhinged because we had like Daddy Yankee throwing his support behind John McCain, which I didn't have my big card at all. But I think there was a match where they had like the local talents dressed up as them. It was just a weird time.
Simpler times indeed. Yes. But no, I think Drake Kendrick, it's interesting. I mean, this feud, everybody's talking about it. What would that even look like in professional wrestling? I mean, maybe you have Drake trying to throw a swerve and resurrecting his wheelchair Jimmy character, Jimmy Brooks from Degrassi, coming out.
Oh, Degrassi reference. I don't know. I think if Drake came out as the character from Degrassi, that's like the 8 Mile scene where he like raps about himself, where Buddy just says, "Yep, I'm lame. Your turn, Clarence." Please.
Do you think Papa Doc in the 8 Mile reality?
Yeah.
Which I've thought about a lot recently. That
of course it comes up all the time.
Clarence is now teaching at Cranbrook and he's teaching English.
Yeah.
And maybe he has a young bleach blonde white student who reminds him of one B Rabbit. And he's just he's thought in his head for the last 20 years, what was that response I should have given that night at the shelter? It like haunts him.
I don't know if this is a Creed reference and he's Rocky Maivia, or you're saying he's like a Snape in Harry Potter, but him just getting mad at white people for no reason.
No, he
20 years ago, you're kind.
You know, he just sees somebody and it reminds him. It's very Cobra Kai-esque, really, to be truthful. Yeah, I think Anthony Mackie, he can make this work. He can have time in his schedule. We could shoot this as like an 8-part series for Netflix. We'll call it Cranbrook.
Here's a question for you. Back to the Drake Kendrick Lamar thing.
Yeah.
Would you try to do and have them there? Like, let's say you had an opportunity to have them there. Would you have them train and have a match, or would it be too late from there? Would you have them pick proxies, like when Donald Trump took a match against Vince McMahon at WrestleMania? Would you have a rap battle in the ring, like when Rikishi battled the New Day? Like, what's going on? Oh, sorry, Rikishi battled Cena and the New Day battled the Usos.
I was thinking more about the New Day and Usos freestyle battle.
Yeah,
how good that was.
Well, I mean, X-Ray like Xavier Woods. That's a hot bar.
That was shocking. That had no right to be as good as that was.
Yeah.
I think about that probably once a month. Still. But no, I think you get them on the mic going toe to toe. And you do it in rounds. And you know what? Let's get Mekhi Phifer. And let's get him in there, to mediate this.
Yeah.
Well,
I would prefer that. The last thing you want is like a random jobber in a Drake shirt versus like a local talent in a Kendrick Lamar shirt having
it's like a bad indie gimmick way to do this. But no, I think it could be good. I mean, now that being said, Kendrick seems like he's winning on the mic. But I don't know. I think Aubrey's kind of scrappy. He might be able to pull out a win.
See, you know what? I am not a hip hop what do you call it? Connoisseur, I guess. No, not a connoisseur. Intellectual, I should say. I'm a connoisseur, not intellectual. But Kendrick has nothing to lose. Like, Kendrick is at the top of his game, but he's not a household name. He's kind of like, in a way, Carmelo Hayes is right now. Everyone who's seen him loves his stuff. He thinks he's fantastic, but no one's buying a Carmelo Hayes cup as of yet. And then on the other hand, you have someone like Drake, who's like CM Punk, been to the mountaintop, was a symbol of attitude. People said he wasn't good enough, but he's tried and tried again. So, like, what's going to happen is Kendrick's going to keep pumping these things out, and Drake's ego's going to keep having responses until Drake goes, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to move on and go a different direction. I'm better." And then Kendrick's going to win. I don't know. What are we doing this for? It's been 2 weeks.
It's true. And they aren't respecting enough that Drake started from the bottom.
And now he's here.
Now he's here.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Toronto.
He was so good on Degrassi. Like he was so good. I knew that kid was a star. Wow. Like so get this. He rapped in an episode of Degrassi as Jimmy. And it was a big deal because he was in the wheelchair after the school shooting, and everyone assumed that people were like, oh man, you've been through it. This happened to you on the streets. He was like, this actually happened at Degrassi Community School, but we're not going to get into that. So he had like all this credibility. But I was like, oh, Aubrey's rapping under his middle name, Drake. And I PayPal like $10 to his Hotmail address. And then I got a burnt CDR he signed the insert like in ballpoint ink pen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This would have been back like 2007. I've got it in a box somewhere here in my box stacks in the office.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a hot fact there, man. So are you a Drizzy fan still? Or are you like, oh man, he was hot when
I can't keep up. He's put out so many records. Here's the problem. Everyone just puts out so many records. Like I don't
Grandpa.
Got time to keep up with that.
It's true. I feel like Spotify's turned music into content. Like your latest drop, I'll wait. Yeah,
it's just too much. Now, if you want beef, let me tell you about UTFO versus Roxanne Shante.
All right.
And then UTFO did their own diss track.
We did that.
Roxanne.
We were on SmackDown. We did that.
I know. Now that's beef.
Oh my God.
But no, look, I hope this. But my worry. It's today getting on a news story. There's shooting outside Drake's residence. Like. This might be getting really real, and that's when this is going to get crazy because now the media, everyone's like, oh, a fun spirited dispute in the hip hop world, and then like when you involve actual violence, it's like, oh no, we thought this was professional wrestling. Don't make this real. We've been through that before. It's not.
Mean, I get it. I was kind of weird that Shawn Michaels is saying the invite. I mean, he's not even general manager anymore. I don't know what Shawn Michaels just does.
Wait, he's not general manager. That should have come through Ava. That's your note.
Yes. Wait a minute. Isn't it Ava's responsibility to have talent come through? Shawn Michaels, you get that job up, sir. Stepping over your boundaries.
Could you imagine? That would be a good storyline. That Ava just starts just inviting people she wants to meet and spend time with to be on NXT. It's like it's like the cast of the Vampire Diaries from CW. It's just like a weird mix of things.
And poor Vic Joseph has to put it over. Hey, look, it's J. Cole with Ava.
Yeah. Hey, Bill Nye the Science Guy's here because apparently Ava was a big fan growing up. He's gonna, do guest commentary on the main event.
Sucky ducky quack quack.
I would pay money to have Booker and Bill Nye the Science Guy call a match.
Oh my goodness, that's an awfully awesome idea.
That would be amazing. But hey, we'll stay tuned to Wrestling Inc. for the latest developments to see if Drake and Kendrick book time to show up on NXT. We're imminently. This is like when Lorne Michaels offered the Beatles $1,200 to reunite on SNL back in like 1979.
Oh, I think I make the Drake reference of SNL. He has a skit called Beef, where like he gets like mad about the most dumbest aggressions. He starts making rap tracks about it, like it's my water bottle. Like it was kind of weird. So there's a scene where Lorne Michaels goes, "Hey Drake, you're doing a good job." He goes, "I'm doing good. That's it. I'm doing great. I mean, it's gonna be awesome. Check it out. It's called Beef."
Also, how is it The Rock cut his greatest wrestling promos on SNL?
The Rock just knew what he wanted to do, man. I really feel like he was like, "Oh man, here's my chance out of here," because I had $7. See, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, $7.
Okay, anything else going on in the news?
Well, according to our producers, nothing at all. Let's get to NXT.
Okay, nice. WNBA season started. Everyone's talking about it.
Well, I'm not me because the Nets are terrible and they're sitting at home, so it's fine.
Aces tickets are like going for a lot.
Really WNBA. Well, the Liberty are even more depressing because they're the closest team in New York to get a championship, and they choked last season, and they lost like 40 points tonight. What's going on?
I'm dealing with professional women's volleyball in Vegas. The Vegas Thrill is second to last. I was at the home game last night, shut out by Omaha. They're not going to the Final Four.
I got a question. So Vegas has professional women's volleyball, and they call
Thrill.
The Vegas Thrill. Thrill. Okay. I was gonna say if the Thrill is like the zombie logo or something like that.
Vegas Thrill. So yes, Vegas has that. Lacrosse, soccer, women's basketball, football, soon to be baseball. We have minor league baseball currently.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think teams used to avoid Vegas because of the whole gambling thing, but now
it's crazy, man. Always something going on. Thinking about going to see a Vegas Lights football game or a soccer game. Sorry, football to the English, soccer to the American.
It's soccer here. I don't go to London and say, "Oi, mate, it's a cookie, not a biscuit." It's our word for it here. It's soccer.
Anyhow, let's talk about NXT tonight.
Please, I'm dying here. All right, let's do it.
Yeah,
Wesley is back, baby.
Wesley, love Wesley. Took on Josh Briggs. Guess who won?
The returning talent.
Yeah, poor Josh Briggs.
Yeah, he's 0 for his last 2. What the hell?
I mean, he's better than the other guy.
Wait, which other guy? Ivar?
His former partner.
Oh, Brooks Jensen.
Yeah.
I'm lost without you, Josh.
I'd pop if they got back together for like a week.
You're not a fan of Josh Briggs on his own?
I know. I think I like Briggs on his own. I worry about the other dude.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about today because Kiana James got called up. Like that storyline they were all in with Fallon and Kiana and Briggs and Jensen, and Sebastian, who we never met. That was like prime NXT storytelling.
That's prime pandemic NXT storytelling.
Riveting time. But no, Wesley got the win. I mean, look, Wesley is so loved by that audience. Obafemi was North American champion, was watching on during that. Ivar was in the audience. Like this was just a feel good moment. Wesley, man, he's gonna get that North American title back. I think. Like you can't put him in the main event scene, but I think that can't put him in there yet. But because Trick's gonna hold that. Because Trick's gonna hold that for a while. You don't want West to lose.
Why not? Why not have Trick be transitional?
Yeah. Wait, really?
I'm not saying he will. I'm just offering debate.
Okay. I mean, I think isn't the word that he's going to be like one of the faces of the show when it goes to the CW.
So I'm concerned, and this is why I have a big concern with wrestlers with fantastic entrance here. Shout out to the original Drew McIntyre with Shaman's Harvest. Is that past the entrance, the actual matches are shorter and shorter. So I wonder if we'll get bored. You look at someone like LA Knight, he came to the main roster, everybody's singing, and they still did that. But on the IWC, it was, I'm bored of LA Knight. He ain't the same anymore. And so I wonder about that, if he should be somebody who should always chase the title.
It's like the IWC was here on this podcast with me. It sounded just like them.
Oh, yeah, I was working on that. It's like an accent, you know.
Good that Wesley's back, though. I mean, so, okay, you think main title, not North American title?
Well, you got Wesley, who's according to Vic Joseph, the best North American champion of all time. So you put him back in that division. It makes sense as unfinished business, but it's like, well, what's your idea with this guy? Is it going to be an also ran another guy, or do you want him to be a bigger star? And I know his age is an issue, his injury history is an issue, his size is an issue, but you have to at least flirt him up there like you did Tony D'Angelo to say, hey, look, you can do it, or else you just be seen as a guy who can't go high.
Tony D's an interesting space. We're going to talk about that. But this was a good match. West looks great. Then Shayna Baszler was in action against Carmen Petrovich. What do you think about Shayna getting the win here?
I like it for Shayna, right? Because I think I don't like to use things like, oh man, they fumbled. But I think you and I are of the same age and cognizance. When she went through Elimination Chamber a couple years back, you were like, oh my God, this is a beast. And then for whatever reason, she's been off TV, on TV, tagged with Nia Jax, tagged with Zoe Stark. So you kind of want that reset. I wouldn't mind Shayna Baszler going back to NXT and getting her chops, but having her choke out Carmen last week and beat Carmen pretty handily this week, I wonder, man, is it helpful to have Shayna Baszler back? Like, you want her to win, but you don't want anyone to lose. And this is a weird dynamic here. That's why I felt kind of icky after this one.
Well, it's interesting with Carmen. So they're doing the story with her that she needs to tap into fierceness, and like Natalia's coaching her. And I get that. I just think that for as much time as Carmen's gotten on TV, and she's got that badass entrance, although it still doesn't make sense. Like, she has the sword, but she can't use the sword. Obviously in wrestling, but why is she out there with the sword? I get the sword is something in judo that she got and she earned, and we're supposed to understand this is proficiency that she has, and the sword is a representation of that. But it's like, look, I still can't get over the way Triple H hits people with a sledgehammer. Has that man ever seen a sledgehammer actually be used before? Because people don't like sit there and like, oh, I'm going to poke you. I'm going to poke something with the end of my sledgehammer. Ooh, I'm poking you in the stomach with my sledgehammer. Look how vicious I am with my sledgehammer. Like, I understand it's WWE where weapons and tools don't work the way they do in the regular world. I understand that. But it's a little bit of a disconnect with Carmen, and I can't get over it. But what I'm saying is she needs to start winning matches because she's got a badass entrance, badass look.
A lot of things to unpack. First of all, is that your sledgehammer voice? Or I got my sledgehammer working out here at the construction site. I'm sure I'm going to hit you on the side of my sledgehammer. Look, I get it. Drew McIntyre had a sword. He used it once on the ring ropes. And Cora Jade had a skateboard. So Ruka had a boogie board last year. Look, it's all... That is
Cora
a little gimmick.
To the ring. Cora can skate to the ring, though.
She did not.
Hit people.
She did not.
Oh, I saw her on that skateboard before.
That is a Mandela effect.
She was never on the skateboard.
She carried it to the ring every time, and I watch every week. And I go, is she going to skate on the skateboard?
They should have HBK backstage saying, like, look, we just don't have insurance for this.
It was a skateboard watch. I'm telling you, it's a Mandela effect. But what I'm saying is that is a little gimmick. You have the prop. You go, okay, great. And I think she came at the wrong time. The Women's Breakout Tournament this year had a bunch of people that kind of melded together on both sides. Like, I mean, I want to talk about people who got released, but there's some people who were at that tournament that were released. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. But what I'm saying is, if you want to tell me she's a badass, what you do is not see her get tapped out 2 weeks in a row. I mean, you can't recover from that. Give me some kind of
cool.
win. Yeah.
She's cool. And I think she got to get some wins. That's what I'm saying. It's like if I'm a kid and I see her on TV, like, that's an action figure that I want. You know, her in her Kill Bill inspired gear with the sword, like, that is just cool. She looks like an assassin. She looks like a superhero, maybe a supervillain. I don't know. But she's got to start getting some wins, or she's got to cut the ring rope with the sword the way Drew McIntyre did.
We got to get the budget for one of those. But
just use it once. Just use the sword once.
You know, if you're Natalia, though, Natalia? If you're Matella, do you walk away? I mean, how many times do you associate with somebody and then you end up taking more losses because of it?
Natalia is very interesting in that losses don't affect Natalia. Like, WWE has never treated it like a loss has ever hurt her credit. They still pitch her and put her over with the credibility of the Heart Dungeon, her now multi-decade career. As a, I don't want to use the term elder stateswoman, but as a mentor figure in the women's division, like, they put her over all the time. If they put her win-loss record on screen, you'd be like, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. But she's still credible despite the losses.
Oh, hold on. I feel like I'm Shannon Sharp talking to Skip back in the day. You really think losses don't matter? Was there ever a match Natalia had and you went, oh, she has this one in the bag? No.
This woman survived the worst gimmick given to the female. What's that?
Lana had the worst.
Did you watch Natalia when she had the flatulence gimmick?
That was kind of funny.
Was it?
No, I'm trying to make myself right here. Okay.
Yeah, she had the worst gimmick of the 21st century. Certainly given to every female wrestler, maybe to any wrestler.
Okay.
It's really bad.
So farting is worse than you going to work and saying, yes, you're going to have a storyline where you're going to cheat on your husband and like it. Is that?
I think they try and give you the flatulence gimmick and you're like, hey, Matt Morgan had that stutter thing. Can I get that? Can I get that gimmick instead?
Stuttering never gets over. Like dancing.
Yeah, I know, but the flatulence isn't going to get over. Like, that it was awful. It was the worst gimmick ever.
All right.
Look for Wrestling Inc.'s video coming soon of the worst gimmicks ever, and Natalia to be at number 1.
That was so forgettable. I forgot about it.
And she survived it. Okay. So if she can survive that, wins a lot. This is WWE. Wins and losses don't matter. You want wins and losses to matter? Go to AEW. WWE.
They don't matter. I understand anyone could be anyone, but I'm asking you, when you're at a live event or if you're at a show and someone's in the ring and goes open challenge and Natty comes out, you're like, oh, I'm only waiting to her to see her lose.
She pulls the win though every once in a while.
When
one out of every 6 times she gets a win.
That is some terrible odds, man. That is
no chance.
Come on. I like Natalia. I respect the heck of what she does. And I felt this way about Kofi for a long time too. When he comes out, you're like, okay, well, I'll watch for the art and science of wrestling, but it's not going to be entertaining because you already feel you know how it's going to end before it even starts.
But that's why it's we're in a King of the Ring, that match that's like Kofi versus Rey Mysterio, because it's like
it got bumped, so we haven't seen it.
You look at that match, you're like, oh, who's going to lose this one? And it's not who's going to win. It's like, well, there's an argument for either of them to lose based on the way they're normally booked, but you don't know. You know?
They don't know, and they bumped it. So it's going to be a live event this week. So
live event.
Are all events live?
Yes. Yes, they are. Anyhow, no, I think that Natalya still has credibility.
Sure.
Back to my original point.
Not disagree with there.
Okay, Carmen has been losing. Carmen needs to get some wins. That she kicked that dude in the face. They called her a smoke show.
Wow, fair enough. Who uses smoke show anymore? Really?
That's so 2021.
Yeah. If I went to the club, it was like, "Hey, tenderoni, yeah, please kick me in the face. I deserve every."
Oh, this is an over 40 club. If you go to an over 40 club and you say, "Hey, tenderoni," I think like, hello,
smoke show. Are we doing that? So what the heck?
I mean, it's more current than tenderoni.
Tenderoni.
Yeah, I would say, "Hey, honey dip."
Where you going? Where you going? Awful.
Sorry, I'm just thinking through slang from early 90s R&B and hip hop now. It's anyhow, now I'm gonna have Roni stuck in my head. Bobby Brown played that live at the New Edition concert 2 months ago.
Oh, did you go?
Oh yeah, yes I did. I was third row.
Third row. Wow. No.
All 6 New Edition members. It was great.
I don't think I've ever been that far in a concert in my life. Well, besides ones that were standing remotely, but like I haven't been to a seated concert that close.
You know what it was? Pro tip for everyone. If you want tickets to any sporting event or any concert, check the official site, no resale, no StubHub. Check the day of, starting around 11 a.m. Check every hour. The production hold tickets that they don't need anymore, or the guest list tickets that weren't claimed, get released to the public, face value.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. A little insider knowledge there. Anyhow, Carmen needs a win, and she didn't get tonight against Shayna. But Kalani Jordan and Thea and Fallon had beef because of the way the Fallon attacking Thea Hale last week. But let's talk about Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe versus the no quarter catcher tonight, Miles Bourne and Charlie Dempsey. With Stax Lorenzo as the ref.
Yeah, I liked it. I really liked it. This reminded me of like the first couple of weeks of Tony D'Angelo when he was like paying off the refs, before he got to the matchup here. So refs unavailable for reasons, bada boom, etc. And the no quarter catch rule, to me, every note was hit. They had their problems with the family, and so they took the L. Tyreek and Tyson lost last week in their debut, which almost never happened, to get the win back against a formidable team. To me, it was just pure entertainment. Everybody ends up winning here, even though people actually lost here.
Yeah, it's interesting with Tony D'Angelo. They're clearly invested in the D'Angelo family. I thought he could have gotten called up to the main roster. I really thought he might be considered, but no, I think for the CW, I think they've decided this is guaranteed good television.
Absolutely.
Which is tough though, because it's a wrestling company. As a wrestler, you want to headline main event WrestleMania, but he's such good TV.
That's always a good problem. Like, let's say you're a talent, and do you really, and you have a job and you're getting a check, and someone goes, "Hey, look, you could be in the mix with the big money, but you may not be on TV every week," like a Cameron Grimes. Well, that's a bad example. He got released. You know what I'm saying? Or you could be on NXT where you're featured every week, but you're on the CW, or you're on the third slot, a fourth of the audience of the other two brands. Like, which one would you pick? And it may be a smaller pile, might help out a lot of people here.
Yeah, and reducing those bumps on the bump card.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting on TV and not bumping, that's good times.
I think so too. Look, I know it's I won't say offensive, it's kind of cheesy, but imagine the feuds that the family had with the original Legato and the sit downs and the yachts and the restaurants, and that stuff's pretty cool. I mean, for what it is, even though it is kind of like all right, what does Tony actually do? Is he an import export guy? Is he like garbage guy? What's
that was sanitation, legitimate business, Flobo.
Apparently, yeah,
okay. Legitimate business. No, but this was a good storyline tonight, and it's furthering things between the D'Angelo family and the no quarter catch crew. Tyson and Tyreek won that match.
Yeah, he did. Well, they got a high floor. I'm not sure of their ceiling there. It's a stacked roster. I don't know about like the depth chart. Does they just feel like they work into an archetype here? And you think of tag team. There's two in my mind, well, three in my mind. There's OTM based on their physical attribute, right? They're two beefy black dudes, or brown skin dudes. But like you look at friends that are kind of nerds but love to have a good time. You look at like Axiom and Frazier, and I wonder, like, where do you fit in? They have a very small window to come up with something very unique for them that works with their skill set and their personality, or else they'll become an also ran. And NXT has told us time and time again, if someone from an archetype goes down, there's a lot of people that fill in that slot.
It's weird, right? It's a weird thing about NXT or about professional wrestling in general, especially WWE. But how is OTM going to fare without scripts?
OTM is nothing without Jada Parker. Like the moment she showed up, it was her group, it was her vibe.
I know.
Like I don't think they were going to match on their own.
I feel so bad for scripts.
Talk about writing on the wall. I felt bad for Tito. So was the Jack Farmer when it happened. I texted him. I said, the moment they put scripts in the ring with Javon Evans, I go, oh no. Oh no, because Javon is bouncy, and I thought it was going to be a swap. Obviously, it wasn't the case, but hopefully, Scripps lands on his feet elsewhere.
Why is it this way with every archetype in WWE except for blonde women? They're like, no, we can't have enough of those. We need more blonde women.
That is something I cannot speak on. Neither blonde or
no, but isn't that strange though? That I just thought about that, where it was like, oh well, they do tend to look at people based on like a 3-word description. Sure. 2 to 3-word description. But yeah, it's like blonde women. It's like, no. We always have room for more of those.
If you want my opinion on this, because I'm totally not a scientific thing, I think it's changing. I think we're going to have like archetypes of physical in limbo. Like Kalani Jordan, one of my favorites on NXT. Yeah. It's no coincidence she got more time when Soruka went down with her injury. That's true. Both limber and long and lanky, I guess, for lack of a better word. But I do remember the 90s and 2000s where it was like, hey, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear, I'm not taking anything away from anyone's accomplishment, regardless of what their archetype is. No. It's just interesting. But it is also confusing in some ways, because we've talked about this before. The strength of the women's division is they understand how to be more toyetic in their presentation, even with different hair colors and with changing it up. So it is challenging sometimes, when you have those matches where it's not as easy, because to the average person watching TV, if they're like, oh, I like so-and-so, I don't know her name, the blonde one. Right. Like, yes, that does not narrow down the description necessarily.
Absolutely. The definition of generic is unfortunately getting wider and wider every day. Yeah. And Triple H said it on Monday Night Raw. WWE is on fire right now. So they're okay with that. But you're right. There's going to come a time where you have the PC and it works for everyone, but there's not enough styles of different experiences that go in different regions, and everyone looks kind of the same, or they have a certain kind of look. It may look like central casting, which is good for your brand. Yeah. You can swap people out. But as far as individual merch sales or individual fandoms, it might be a little difficult.
Well, and they do this a lot, by the way. Let me give you a great example of this. Heavy Machinery back in the day, and with Otis and Tucker.
Oh, yeah.
Were not on the same brand as the Viking Raiders.
True.
Because we got 2 teams with 2 beefy white dudes. Let's split them up. They do this a lot. Start watching this with Raw and SmackDown and realize there's like alternate universe, not gimmicks, but types between Raw and SmackDown. They do this all the time.
Absolutely.
But that being said, I do think Carmen Petrovic stands out. This is where the sword helps. Which one do I like? The one with the sword. Right. Soruka stands out. I mean, you watch her and you watch her finisher moves. I like the Surfer Girl. This is where having a clearly defined gimmick helps you more in terms of just getting over and saying like who you are.
And this is what if you're the next one up, you're talking about the Jasmine Nixes, you're talking about the Izzy Dames. They have that same problem that Tyreek and Tyson do, where they have to come up with something that is their skateboard or surfboard or something like that.
Isn't that weird that it's like you get one prop to define your character? That was like a Tough Enough challenge once. You get one prop to define your character.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the headphone guy. I don't know.
That didn't really work that well for TJ. I mean, it kind of did.
Oh yeah. Oh, Max Caster did it.
Oh, that's true. It's interesting. It's interesting getting into this. I would love to talk to a writer or someone in creative currently or formerly at WWE and just get confirmed or deny if it's really this bad as it seems from the outside.
Why would they do that for you?
I
It's
don't
like
know.
dark alley, dark
I've
parking
gotten
lot.
DMs before where I've speculated something. They're like, "Oh yeah, yeah." Like,
What?
yeah, like you have no idea.
I usually get cease and or desist, but that's cool, man.
Oh, but speaking of which, this worked tonight. Chelsea Green and Ariana Grace backstage. Delightful.
Yeah, I get it. But Gigi Dolan has had it. What does that mean?
I don't see. We need the payoff of Gigi Dolan showing up looking like a 1940s USO woman selling war bonds. We need that payoff.
Lacey Evans?
Oh God.
Her NXT gimmick was, I think, was her best one. It was the best one. I loved it.
Funny that I just described that, like Lacey Evans, because I was trying to think of like what's the most old timey hokey gimmick we could get.
That was the best gimmick. That whole Marine stuff was weird. Her being a bombshell, the women's right makes a lot more sense.
Yes, but no, we need that payoff. Gigi Dolan has to give in to the makeover before she's like, I've had enough.
Okay, you're right, but I hate the story. I really do.
I know, but it's TV.
Okay, I mean, everyone tells me Ariana Grace has nailed it, and I think she has. But Gigi Dolan to me is such a curious case because I felt like a year and a half ago when it was Toxic Attraction, she was number one up, and of course, Mandy's on the roster. She basically got replaced by Tiffany Stratton. If you think about the archetype thing, and JC Jane really broke out on her own. So I'm like, for months, Gigi had no direction. She loses a match that had no stipulation of being under Ariana Grace's wing, and she does it anyway. And I go, why would she even agree to that? Like, what was the thing beforehand?
And let me tell you more how they screwed this up. They made her a massive baby face, like talking about like personal trauma and history and connecting with the audience. And then like they just nerfed it like a week or two later.
Yeah. Oh, Alicia A in the chat. Okay. Yes. Georgina.
Georgina. We need a payoff for Georgina.
She did Dolene.
Do you think, I mean, it's interesting. It'll be interesting if Gigi gets called up to the main roster. I guarantee she's not going to be on the show Becky Lynch is, because why? Archetypes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They think about this. People flipping channels. You know, yeah.
Will Chelsea Green wear the hat still? Because like they have similar hats.
That's true. And why when Gigi was a baby face was she still coming out in the like Hell's Favorite with the Rose and looking like she's in a Motley Crue video circa 1988?
Because Shotzi was the main roster.
Oh, okay. We're gonna solve everything, Flobo. We're gonna get to the bottom of it.
Not solving a dang thing tonight. Nope.
Okay. Ariana Grace versus Mia Yim. Michin getting the win. About time.
Sure. I like it. What I didn't like, and I'm skipping ahead, is that Ava referred to her as in the OC still. The OC should be dead. It is not dead, but Michin gets to win here.
Gals and Anderson were on the show tonight.
They should be Gals and Anderson, not or even the Good Brothers, not the OCs, the Good Brothers.
Yes, it's weird. Rich Holland told Thea Hale she reminds him of his daughter.
Oh yeah, riveting television. That's what I want to hear.
This was weird. This was so weird.
Look, all right. I correct what I said. This is the worst thing in wrestling right now. It's just this ballad of Rich Holland where I'm supposed to feel for this guy because of things he's done in the past. In real life, fine, not his fault. It's an accident. But in the story, him taking matches, him getting beat up, but then him choking out Joaquin Wilde backstage, I don't know who to root for. And he's right. He is totally a liability wherever he goes, and I'm not going to buy any merch in universe because of this. It's like, oh man, he has bad luck. Well, I hope he tries hard. That girl, my daughter. What? Come on.
By the way, Rich Holland is 35 years old. Thea Hale is 20 years old.
Ew. Well,
he started young.
I guess what I'm saying. Look, I want to root for everyone on my TV screen. I try to take the real life stuff out of it. But Rich Holland has like basically wandered from left to right in a inverse Joe Gacy, where it's like at least Joe Gacy's unhinged and funny. This guy's Joe Gacy. Yeah, he's just unhinged. Like he's a menace. He didn't retire for a weekend. What's going on?
Do you think Ridge saw Jack Perry come out with that scapegoat gimmick and was like, Darn, why didn't I think of that?
That's my gimmick, mate. Oh God.
No, this isn't. Look, accidents happen in wrestling. I'm not personally blaming Ridge.
Don't try this.
It was weird how they leaned heavily on accidents that he was involved in that injured other people. Us and other people were like, oh, don't use that in a storyline. And then it was, oh no, accidents that affected me that I was on the receiving end of. This, it's like, it's amazing how much TV time he's getting. Like, he's been a constant presence and it's not getting over. And I don't feel like they have a clear through. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this ends in the most spectacular fashion possible.
Right. I know in NXT, heels and faces are fluid, but I'm not sure. And this is a real problem. I'm not sure if I should be rooting for Ridge Holland to have some good luck and come over this, or hoping he gets his comeuppance for causing damage. And that's huge because he's like, well, he's interacting backstage with Chase U. And I'm like, well, I mean, Riley Osborne does sound kind of right. Yeah. but
yeah.
Is that supposed to be the case? I don't know.
Yeah. And it's weird Andre Chase hasn't faced more consequences for the gambling thing.
I like Chase U. I think they're really cool. But
yeah.
I was telling this to Jack Farmer on Tax Wash, and I was like, this is reminding me of like the Seth Rollins as a savior thing during the pandemic, where just a lot. It's just a lot of it. Like I've had enough cake, Chase. If you're not going to break up, this needs to be separated. Have them going to run. Have them wear black uniforms. Something needs to change because nothing's really grown from them.
Well, we never got the full JC Jane takeover, even though she saved the universe. Like they've done, they've gone 60% through with everything with Chase U. Like there's been so many seeds of classic storylines. Oh, JC Jane saved Chase U. Now she's gonna take over. It's gonna be Chase U. What conflict's gonna happen? Is everyone gonna start wearing like black leather is gonna become the school outfit? Like there's something that could be there. Andre Chase busted gambling on his own students' matches. Is Ava gonna ban him like a Pete Rose? He'll never get into the WWE Hall of Fame. Like they could do something really meta and fun with that storyline. Like he can't be there at ringside, and then we see somebody like with like a fake mustache and sunglasses in the audience, and it's Andre Chase. He's been banned from ringside, but he's there. Okay. You know? Yeah, I mean, they could do so much, but they like get us 60% of the way there and then just change gears.
Yep. Calendars.
Yeah. And Thea likes a boy, and maybe that's gonna be a thing. Or JC and Thea even now it's kind of cool. And I know this is blurring the lines. In kayfabe, it's cool that Thea broke JC's nose. I hope JC's okay. I know she had surgery, but that level of viciousness in Thea Hale, like that should have been Thea's moment. It should have. I know they had the multi-woman match at TakeOver, but I feel like Thea should be a shoe-in for at least the finals of the North American Championship, and maybe she is. She came in second in the women's combine behind Sol Ruka. That should be the finals.
Sure. I'm with it. Like, again, I think you're saying something, like you're basically saying what I'm saying, in that something has to change. Yeah. I like Chase U as a thing, but like the next chapter has to come now, because we can't keep doing this with Ridge Holland and Riley. Are they together? Are they not? One, is just Chase going to wrestle, or is just going to be a manager? Two, Ridge Holland, stop telling people you're your daughters, man. That's creepy. I mean, it's Tuesday night, man.
It's just strange.
Yeah, man.
But no, see it through. NXT, see one of these storylines through to its conclusion, and then tell another storyline. Stop getting bored with the story mid-telling it. Like, this is, and again, NXT is my favorite show on TV, not just my favorite wrestling show, my favorite show on television, because it's a variety show. And what I'm telling you is this is very bad WWE, where it's like we got bored halfway through the story as we were telling it and shifted gears. Like, bring some of this stuff to a conclusion, then jump onto the next chapter.
And now we're demanding stuff. It's been high time NXT needs an opening sequence. I don't know. I just was jumping.
No, I like when they were doing the recaps. Remember those couple weeks where at the beginning where it was like previously on Melrose Place?
God,
like
that's not what I mean. I mean, I want a package with matches and people go into the cameras, and I want a theme song, a legit theme song. Give me some of that.
Okay. Well, we got the Supernova sessions tonight, and Lash and Trick, they got a secret.
Trick Willy Wonka. Oh yeah.
There's some joke about saying Candyman 3 times, and I don't know. Anyhow,
family show.
Yes. This is good. This harkens back to Noam Dar's past a little bit, like his jealousy issues, because he has had a feud over a woman before. And I like that he's jealous of this, and this is the pretext for Noam Dar versus Trick Williams for the NXT Championship.
Love it. I think it's a perfect challenge for both Noam, because he's in that Heritage Cup division forever, and Trick Williams having a level 1 boss in Noam Dar. But the envelope mystery wasn't much of a mystery, and I know that ship has sailed. But how cool would it be if Trick Williams took Lash Legend out to be his valet at WrestleMania? That'd have been awesome.
I agree. Well, I think we're going to be seeing more of them together, and I liked Alicia, though, saying, yeah, the reveal of the envelope was such a letdown. I do like the interaction between Lash and Trick, though. They're fun together, and I like Noam Dar knocking Trick out. That was a good build. This is going to be fun. I mean, maybe this pays off at Battleground. Maybe they keep it going till then.
What could have been in the envelope to make it a bombshell, right? Like, what could it have been?
I don't know. I mean, like, there's dumb things you could say, there's inappropriate things you could say, but like in storyline, so the idea was that what was in there was a picture of Trick pinning Noam Dar and Noam saying, that's right, because you did this is why you got to go on and win the NXT championship. Like, it was weird logic.
Yeah, because one of those photos on .com, like it was the actual pin. It wasn't like Big Show and Royal Rumble 2000 where it was an alternate angle. It was the actual.
It would have been funnier if they would open the envelope and it was just a picture of Noam Dar giving the middle finger. Like,
hello. Hear me now. Just 2 middle fingers up.
Yeah, something. Yeah, so Baby is saying a second person who attacked Trick when Mello did. I don't know.
That would be kind of funny, actually. Like, who the hell is that? It's Rich Holland. I'm so sorry. I'm unlucky. I am so unlucky. Hey, your daughters look like my daughters. What?
I have a lot of children from many different women. It's lonely on the road.
Oh man, poor guy. Not really.
The Rich Holland thing is so. But you're right, though. It is, the Rich Holland thing is bordering on self-parody now.
Yeah, it is awful.
You know? Next week, I was 7 years old when I realized that I was going to die one day. And since then, I've been very depressed. I had a very bleak childhood contemplating my own mortality. And now here I am at 35. I'm realistically at the halfway point unless science makes some huge achievements.
And your kids look like my kids.
Backstage, watching people eat. That meal might be low in carbohydrates, but it's very high in sodium. Do you know what that does to the human heart?
They just say that and play music.
I'm Ridge Holland, and I'm a sad bastard.
Oh.
You're eating quinoa. I was eating quinoa the night before I injured someone else in the ring. Oh, wait, that's too insensitive. I was eating quinoa the night before I was injured in the ring.
Ava, he should fight J. Cole.
Yeah. Anyhow, Supernova Sessions was fun. That theme song slaps.
Yeah.
This was great. We went right into this from Backstage. Natalia telling Carmen to be more vicious. Dude said smoke show. She kicked him in the face. Natalia approved. Kalani Jordan versus Fallon Henley. And heel Fallon got the win. I wonder how her parents' bar is doing.
There is no bar. It became a ranch. I've been trying to figure this out for months. I was like, what's going on with this? She had a bar and then she made Tiffany work at a ranch, and now she's an illegal rancher because why?
Is that why she snapped? She's like, I had the worst ranch hand ever.
Yeah, apparently that Rich Holland bad luck is spreading. But I don't understand this. She hit the hill, and now she's a bad girl thing. I'm going to focus on me. But why?
I worked on a ranch once. I was 8 years old. They had me put down the sick and ailing cows. The cows would look me in the eye as if they knew what was coming, but silently they were thanking me for putting an end to their suffering. I'm Ridge Holland, and I'm the saddest person in all of professional wrestling.
Let's get out of here. No, I don't understand the heel. Like, okay, I get it. Like everyone can't be a face, but Fallon turning heel was the most random thing ever. It's like, I hate your hair. Bam. And then she goes, ha ha. I'm a bad girl now. But why? Ooh, okay, but you're still in the same spot you were.
Is Aces though. Her theme song's great.
It's actually one of the better ones. And I'm not trying.
It is pretty good.
It's good. I just don't understand what the end game was. Was anyone holding her down? was anyone not giving her opportunities? She was on TV every week. She had it made.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's wrestling.
Come on, Glenn.
I know.
Logic.
I know. What about Duke Hudson versus Lexis King?
You know, this is interesting because 4 months ago or 5 months ago when Lexis King came, I thought, oh my gosh, this guy is already, he's like pre-made. That's a little beard. He was in the main event scene, but he was off the screen for so long. He was kind of cooled off. And so this felt like a re-debut, like an injury situation. And Duke Hudson's a guy I don't think has won a match one-on-one for a long time. So much like Natalya, I go, okay, is Lexis King getting his comeuppance? Or Lexis King beating up Duke Hudson?
I mean, Lexis King, I think they can push him anytime they want into the championship scene, North American Championship, random feud. I like Thea Hale screaming at him. Thea's a lot of fun, man. Thea should be, but here's the thing: when Thea if she becomes NXT North American Women's Champion, like she needs to graduate from Chase U a little bit, because I think that it's taking away from her unique star power when you're always seeing her with the group. Like I'm a fan of her getting more TV time, but she needs to become her own woman.
I'm with that. And it's again, that window's closing because you have archetypes, right? Brindley Reese also doing the energetic
I know
Spitfire thing. And Thea Hale is the same size as Roxanne Perez, who's also doing her own thing. So I do think she's really leaning into what she was doing before on Level Up, the whole Greek American thing. But you're right. I think the problem is Chase U is they know those guys can't go much further separate, but you can't keep them together that they can keep them together.
Yeah. Oh, Melissa Villasenor. That's who Brindley Reese sounds like. Melissa Villasenor from SNL. I love Brindley Reese's voice.
Wow, that is a very deep cut. Or
specific. I was like, whose voice does Brindley Reese remind me of? Like, I like Brindley Reese a lot. I think with Brindley Reese originally, maybe this didn't exist, but I saw like a shade that she was doing a parody of like fitness influencers.
A little bit.
And I thought that was brilliant. Maybe because I'm someone that works in influencer marketing, and I was like, they're speaking to me. Like, I get this. I understand this.
Can you get me followers, man?
Well, I don't work. I work in the ad side. Like,
come on, you're killing me, Glenn. Okay.
I get pitched those services all the time, though. But
I think that was the case. I think it was like she was doing the whole Simon Dean thing. But if you think of her like clapping her hands, going "yay" and being positive, it's like that's 1.0 Thea Hale before she even got the Chase U stuff.
But then Thea discovered study aids and went off the rails. Oh, we need a very special episode.
Scared.
That would be great for Chase U.
Oh no.
She's taking caffeine pills. She's
no one would get it but us old guys. No one would get it but us.
No, energy drink abuse is a serious problem.
I know. I'm a part of that problem. But I'm just saying it's a very like very 90s sitcom.
But with Chase U, they should be doing this stuff, but do it now before she's champ. They're going to be so bummed they didn't do this stuff when she's champion, because I mean, Chase U for a while, and it hurts me to say this, Flobo. Chase U was as good of TV as the D'Angelo family. It was a pillar.
That was way better.
Depending on the week. But again, now they're abandoning storylines left and right.
Is it really a school? It's like when
is it really a school?
Tribal chief, we never see the tribe. Like ever. Like what do you guys?
We saw the family tree. We saw the bloodline family tree.
Well, now, but I tell Issa all the time: does Roman go to cookouts? Does he does appearances? Does he do taxes? Like what does he achieve of? It's the Chase U. They're not. They have one classroom. They have no gym. Like what? This is the worst school ever.
Yeah, it's a magnet school. It's
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Like one of those free range academies for kids where they just let them play outside for half the day. Go here's some clay, go learn something, create. But no, I think that this was good. Lexus King did a good job. He could just do it. He could just turn on the shtick, man. Like something about that guy is instantly just hateable, and it's lovely.
Do you wonder about what that does for Shawn Spears's prospects in NXT? Having Lexus King being able to be heat up whenever he wants to.
I mean, no disrespect to Shawn Spears, but it's pretty clear that whole player coach thing that Cody predicted for AEW is happening in NXT. He's producing segments. He's working with the students. Like, I think Shawn's there, but it's actually kind of remarkable that they're not pushing him harder on TV,
Yeah.
Interesting. We heard from and then Ridge Holland came out and looked at Lexus King and said, I bleached my hair once. Worst decision of my life. Used too much sun in. Every time I went outside, my hair turned color. I was very depressed. I was very sad.
It was pretty sad.
Ridge Holland's a very sad man. Very depressed.
How does he survive?
How does he survive? Jasmine Nix gave an update on JC Jane. She's recovering from the broken nose.
Jasmine Nix, fan? Not a fan? Wait and see.
I haven't seen enough yet. We'll get there.
Will we?
I think so. I think with JC maybe taking a couple weeks off.
Okay.
I think JC and Thea, I think they should run it back at a PLE and have a proper blow off to the feud conclusion. It is weird though. I'm thinking about this now. Like now I can't unstick myself
about
how Chase U has been. Ridge is like, I had a storyline once. They just kept changing it. Now I'm telling people they remind me of my daughter.
Yeah.
I have sons. It's very odd. I can't even relate.
I went to a takeover, but they changed the name. I didn't have a match because it's Battleground. It's like, shut up, Ridge. Get over yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the main event. Roxanne Perez versus Chelsea Green. AI on Twitter recapped this match before it happened and said Chelsea Green won. Before NXT even started tonight.
Chelsea Green should have won.
I mean, I respect Roxanne Perez. I get that they're very invested in her. I think she's improved a lot with her gravitas as a character. And I think she's good in the ring, but I need stakes to these storylines.
I'm glad you think so.
You're into it?
No. Roxanne Perez is definitely filling a role.
Okay.
Her heel turn was, the fact that Cora Jade went down was kind of a big thing.
Archetypes.
And so I guess her theme song's cool and people say she's improving the mic. That's great. But like this match, if this match were to happen in GM mode on 2K, Triple H would pull you aside and go, you have 2 heels on your main event. You don't do that. So I have this match where I'm like, man, I hope something happens, like a face comes out and breaks this up so I can say, wow, it's fun. But no, you get a clean matchup between Chelsea Green and Roxanne Perez. Okay.
It was weird, but Chelsea and Roxanne are equally over with the audience. Not talking about roles, not talking about babyface or heel. They are equally loved and disliked by the audience. Maybe the inverse of the two. The amount of people that love Chelsea or the amount of people that dislike Roxanne, even though she's a heel, and vice versa.
So you're saying there's so much of heel, it becomes a face versus face. It's gone full circle.
Chelsea's gimmick is a heel, but it's not like she ran over a dog, and like, oh, she's a bad person. It's not that kind of heel. Not like she's like
that dog had it coming. It did. No, I got it. It's so random though. That's your market for being a wrestling heel. It's like over dogs. Jeez.
I don't know, but I was saying she doesn't do traditional heel S.
Okay. But okay,
You know?
I guess what I'm saying is, if let's say Chelsea Green would have won this match, of course it didn't happen. But if Chelsea
Yeah.
Green won the match, would you be more excited or less excited?
I would have been excited for a Chelsea Green NXT Women's Championship. That would have been an amazing reset button to hit.
Oh yeah, I agree. Sorry, Piper. We're going on a solo run.
But with her, with Ariana Grace, like riding shotgun, like that would be amazing. I want to watch that NXT for the summer.
Yeah. Would you swap them? Would you swap out Piper and Niven for Ariana Grace for a tag team run?
Oh man, it's too good. Like, and I like Piper, but Piper could be more vicious. Piper should be running singles matches, wrestling like she did in NXT UK.
Well, there's a lot of people that can fit that description, but unfortunately.
I know. It's really weird though that they've Dewdrop's second worst gimmick that a woman had after Natty and the flatulence thing.
I disagree because you couldn't even describe what Dewdrop was. Was she like a motivational speaker? Was she energetic? Was she a athletic trainer? Like I didn't know what it was. It was like you're Dewdrop. Okay.
It was bad.
It was a bench slate. It was like all right.
It was bad. It was just bad on many levels.
Sure.
And it just didn't do her any favors, I don't think. But she persevered. And I think that's worthwhile. It means something. But no, I think this match went on about as long as it needed to. Roxanne won. It was very predictable. Who's gonna face Roxanne next for that championship?
Well, it's kind of interesting because most of the women's division was in that combine, right? So
I know we've got a lot of North American champion level women right now.
Yeah, but the only person that was still hanging out who has some heat is Lola Vice, but that's another antagonist. It's another heel. Not sure how that would play in. Or Shayna Baszler, they're all heels.
Okay, this is a
NXT.
physicality thing. Okay, this is like Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. Like, I want to see them tell the story of how Roxanne beat Shayna Baszler, but on paper, on the visual of that, given the Shayna Baszler's actual MMA career, like you're gonna really have to sell me on that story in the ring.
That's why I think it's gonna be Lola. It's gonna be Lola. She had the match against the legend. She could say I'm an unstoppable force and have her be the protagonist that way. And Roxanne being like, "Don't take me off my mountain. I'm Roxanne Perez. I've earned my keep." But to me, as a person who likes clear faces and heels, it's kind of like, okay,
yeah, it's tough. Tatum Paxley, who's in the North American Championship tournament, I think Tatum could turn babyface based on the crowd was reacting to her in that triple threat.
Sure. I mean, it's unhinged, so unhinged stuff tends to get a pop.
I like Tatum. I want Tatum to win that match.
Win the North American title or the NXT
title? I wanted her to win the main title in that triple threat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair
I thought that would have been fun.
Hot takes.
It's TV. It's not sports. It's TV.
All right, pal.
In the parking lot, the D'Angelo family kidnapped Damon Kemp as we went off the air. But before that, Noam Dar and the Metaphor had a confrontation with Javon Evans.
Bouncy.
Yes. He's great. He seemed more natural tonight than he does when he gives a promo.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I think his gimmick is like, yeah, man, just be somebody in your 20s.
But there we go.
Julian Floyd off the top rope.
Roxanne's keeping that belt warm for Julia.
Interesting. Now, I don't hate it. I think it makes sense, but they got to be very careful about Julia in NXT. And
it's gonna be Asuka all over again. It's gonna be Shayna all over again.
No. I am worried, and I granted this was a different time period. It might be a Sarai situation, if you know what I mean. Remember her? Sarai? Sari?
Oh, I thought you said Saraya for a second. I was like,
well, she was Sarai. She was Sarai or Sarai. But
yeah. Okay. Wow. Do you think it's gonna go that?
I'm just saying if you're not careful with it, because I think those characters, right, the ones that are just like badasses, you have to give them a character that is an NXT skin. And that has been one of the biggest weak spots. If someone's coming in with a badass streak and saying, how do you fit in? That's like I asked about Shawn Spears earlier, right? So I wonder if you're bringing Julia and and say, just be Julia. Will that work in the NXT universe with a Tony D'Angelo over here and an evil rancher over there? That's what
The Evil Ranchers.
mm-hmm. Baby Ice disagrees. Okay. Sari was being on NXT 2.0. Okay. Fine.
Oh, that's true. Although that gave us Chase U and Tony D'Angelo.
When did 2.0 stop being 2.0? Is it 3.0 now? Or is it still?
It's kind of the same. By the way, why didn't where's my payoff on Cross and Black and Gold Never Dies with the Final Testament?
Are you really looking for a payoff for the Karrion Kross story?
For that Black and Gold Never Dies angle, that is a great build to a PLE of Black and Gold versus 2.0.
I'd rather have Rich Holland tell that story. Well, you see what happened. I had the story in my hand and I lost it. Oops, I dropped it.
Okay, Flobo, this was good. We got to do this again.
Heck yeah, man. I'm going to miss you Friday, right? Are you going to be here Friday?
Yeah, I'm traveling. I got things.
Well, that means I have to lead SmackDown, which is always a train wreck because I'm not a guy who runs the controls well. But it's going to be a good time on Friday Night SmackDown for Wrestling Inc. and their shows. And of course, you got Dynamite on Wednesday. So it's going to be a good time all week. But I'm going to miss you, man.
Yeah. I'll be back here before you know it. Okay, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Flobo's at Flobo Boyce. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. Catch you back here next time. Please like, share, subscribe, click that bell notification, and we'll catch you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.